Scenario 1 and 2 by Daniela Romero,
Kayla Johnson.
Jordan Minter.
Alinda Pratt.
and Java Kelly.
Key roles.
I'm Kayla Johnson, and I'll be playing the role of the president of NBC News.
I'm Daniela Romero, and I'll be playing the role of University Police Chief.
I am Alinda Pratt, and I'll be playing the role of University President.
I am Jordan Minter, and I'll be playing the role of the reporter of the local newspaper.
I am Java Kelly, and I will be playing the role of a viewer in another state.
Scenario 1. At 7:15 a.m., April 2007, at approximately 7:15 a.m., Sung Hui Chu shoots a woman at the West Virginia Tech campus just after her boyfriend had dropped her off. 7:20 a.m., Virginia Tech police receive first call from a student who heard a noise and thinks that someone might have fallen out of a loft bed. University police dispatch 2 officers to perform a wellness check at the door.
7:24 a.m., April 2007, Part 1. Virginia Tech police arrive and find the victims. Cho is back in his room where he changes out of his bloody clothes, accesses his university email account, and erases files. And the account as well. Police begin looking for the woman's boyfriend after a friend mentions that he likes guns.
Upon entering the dorm and finding the victims, the 2 officers inspect the victims and check if they can be resuscitated. After they realize the victims are dead, they call for a coroner to retrieve the bodies. This information is passed to the University Police Chief, who informs the Blacksburg Police of a possible double murder as well as the university officials. The officers begin investigating in the area and interviewing possible witnesses after the coroner arrives. Their current lead is one of the victims' boyfriends.
7:57 a.m. The University Police Chief notifies university officials, and they meet to develop a response.
We, the University Police, inform the officials of a possible double murder. Believing it to be an isolated incident, I recommend not informing the public till the following day once we have more information, and then asking for people to come forward if they have any information, but should issue a warning to be careful in that area.
Classes began at 8 a.m. Word has begun to get out to students who share information through email, text messages, and cell phones.
As the university president, upon being notified of the shooting that took place on the university, an emergency meeting is developed. My motivation is to evaluate the situation at hand and ensure the safety of the students, faculty, and potential concerned family members. My team and I work with the police to gain reliable information. Questions posed are: can we identify the type of threat? Can we identify the cause of the threat? Can we tell members of the university actions they can take to protect themselves from the threat? If so, then we should give a detailed warning. If not, we could potentially cause harm and widespread panic. 9:26 a.m., April 2007. The university sends out the first email about the shootings in the residence hall. Local reporters hear of the story on police scanners and make plans to cover the story.
On the morning of April 16, 2007, reporting live as we're headed to the campus of Virginia Tech. We have just been notified that law officials are surrounding the residential campus that has enrolled over 28,000 students this year. Students and faculty are scattering the campus this morning due to an incident that has occurred inside of a residence hall around 9:26 a.m. Law enforcement have not released any information regarding what has happened as of yet. As the story develops, we are working to get answers as quickly as possible. Live in Blacksburg, Virginia.
Scenario 2. At 9:05 a.m., April 2007, second period of classes begins. Police locate the first victim's boyfriend driving home, and by the side of the road, they administer a test to check for gunpowder residue. It is negative.
2 officers bring the boyfriend into custody for questioning, as he is the current prime suspect and the last individual to see the victims alive. 9:40 a.m., 2007. Cho begins shooting in Norris Hall. Victims call 911 from their cell phones. 3 minutes after receiving the first 911 call, police arrive at Norris Hall to find 3 of the doors to the building chained. They cannot shoot the chains off to get inside. As the university police chief, I dispatch 8 officers and arrive on the scene to more effectively. I inform the Blacksburg police of an active shooting situation at the university and ask for backup. I divide my officers and I into groups of 3 and head into the building. Police inform the university president of the shooting. Cho continues to attack.
As university president, I work with the university police to gain reliable information. Once that information is provided, my goal is to send out an emergency email notification to students to reduce widespread panic. I begin campus lockdown procedures. I advise students to stay inside, lock doors, and tell them that the university is doing everything possible to keep them safe at this time. More updates will come.
9:50 a.m., April 2007, Part 1. Police managed to get into Norris Hall through a fourth door that was locked but not chained. They follow the sounds of gunshots to the second floor where they find victims. They begin rescue and triage, sending out calls for ambulances and alerting hospitals. Local reporters and photographers arrive on the scene. University officials send out a second email, this one announcing, "A gunman is loose on campus. Stay in the buildings until further notice and stay away from all windows." Loudspeakers broadcast the message as well.
President of NBC News.
As president, I would like first make some calls to local affiliates, WTVR and WHSR, just to seek information about what's currently happening on the campus of Virginia Tech. I need to ensure my staff and personnel that they will be safe with going to the scene. Next, I would contact my host, crew, and producer to ensure that they have all necessary equipment to conduct a great live shot. The national topics that could be spoken about is violence in America, gun control, mental health, and anxiety. I would be mindful to what photos and videos being released in respect for families.
9:50 a.m. As we arrive on scene, many reporters are setting up tripods and searching through large crowds to gather the story firsthand. I noticed law officials surrounding a residence hall. My camera guy and I tried to get as close as possible. Students are distraught. Many are in tears, gathering in prayer. We watch students running out of classes in panic mode. Students are being told to lock doors and windows. Screams and cries ring out through the campus. Doors are changed to the residence hall, making it hard for law enforcement to enter. We begin to capture live shots. The police have barricaded all entrances and now to be surrounding a residence hall. The school is on an official lockdown. Police are asking everyone to seek shelter.
10:08 a.m., April 2007. Police find Cho's body in a classroom. They suspect he is a shooter because he has self-inflicted gunshot wounds and weapons near him.
Once we, university police, find the suspected gunman, we inform the university president, but tell them to remain alert as we continue to sweep the building for another gunman and possible victims.
In about 11 minutes inside Norris Hall, Cho had fired nearly 200 shots, killing and wounding many students and teachers.
Amy Accurate, reporting live.
Breaking news, it has been discovered that a tragic incident has taken place on Virginia Tech's campus, where a mass shooting has left many dead and several injured. This has been a sad day for Blacksburg as a gunman took the life of himself after taking the life of others inside of a residence hall this morning, where all victims were found dead. In accordance with the Clery Act, all crimes will be reported for the safety of all students and staff. At this time, as you can see, the sadness on many faces. University officials have not released any names of the victims. We are waiting to gain insight from the school president. We are truly saddened by this tragedy. Our thoughts and prayers are with all affected at this time.
My name is Jane Public, and as I'm watching this action being taking place at Virginia Tech University, it appears to be a dark day for Blacksburg, Virginia. I'm concerned about this because of how far I am from the crime scene. the dependence of news media, and not having a personal connection with the witnesses nor parents of the victim. For what I'm seeing, this incident can happen at any campus. I know that this tragedy is causing grief to myself, families of the faculty members and students, and residents of the state of Virginia. Sadly, I don't have enough information at this time to give full details of this mass shooting.
Evaluation. So we will consider the ethical considerations related to professional journalists and RTDNA, as well as the documents and evidence supported in this case. We will also consider the legal considerations involving in our decisions that were made.
Ethical considerations. Ethical considerations as to how they relate to the Society for Professional Journalists and Radio, Television, Digital News Association Codes of Ethics.
Journalists are under pressure when reporting live stories, especially those that have a heavy impact on society. And as a journalist, we must consider the image of victims, families, and friends. Also, we must protect ourselves as a writer. Our reputation is at stake for every story we report. We must remain neutral tones when reporting events. RTDNA. In this story, as a reporter, a journalist should not describe the shooter by race, nor the victims. That can start hate crimes and racial wars. We do not want to neglect any part of the story. However, we do not want to frighten viewers.
University Police Department. I have to consider the safety of everyone on campus. I originally believed the 2 victims in Scenario 1 were an isolated incident. Because of that, I believed it would be best to delay informing the student population until we had more information. Although the Clery Act requires me to give out time warning in case of That's why I informed the city police and university. Only when I realized the whole situation, and I had to quickly inform the university and campus population so that they could remain safe. Legal considerations. University Police Department. I had to make sure I was making intelligent and timely decisions as to when releasing information and when to notify the campus. If I ended up notifying the campus too quickly without verifying the situation, I could be putting the university at risk for a lawsuit and I could possibly be fired. But if I'm unable to timely notify the campus about knowing the truth of the situation, I am also facing the same risk as well as risking human lives. The resource I used to help me make my decisions was the Clery Act Center's notification checklist.
University President. As University President, my ethical decision-making correlates with the safety of the students and university. As I made decisions, those were my concerns. I made decisions with the Clery Act in mind, which states that institutions are required to give timely warnings of crimes that are a threat to the safety of students. I am also tasked with potentially causing widespread panic if I send out an email notification at the wrong time. To make decisions, I for reliable information to report to my staff and students. We identified the threat. The cause told members of this community how to protect themselves. This was my decision-making process as university president.
President of the NBC News. When a school shooting occurs, education reporters, who my association represents, are the newsroom's equivalent of first responders. It's their job to ensure their newsrooms include standards and practices for covering school shootings responsibly, with an eye totally, fully informing the public while minimizing the potential for harm. They should ask managers, aka me, when their news outlets will name perpetrators and how often. They should also ask whether coverage of such an event will use tweets by students who are in lockdown or share videos and photos from scenes of violence. Also, I'll be cautious with releasing numbers.